after an argument with her male best friend. She pulled me aside and told me, "You need to apologize to him or we're done." I just looked at her, stunned. Then she added, "He was here before you, and he's more important than you." I didn't respond. I simply walked out, got in my truck, and drove away. 3 days later, she showed up outside my apartment crying, begging me to forgive her. I'm not a writer, so bear with me here. I never thought I'd be posting something like this, but what happened has left me rethinking a lot. I could use an outside perspective. I'm a 43-year-old general contractor. I've been divorced for 6 years and have a teenage daughter who lives with her mother. I've been dating Allison, a 39-year-old woman, for just over a year. We met when I was doing renovations at the coffee shop she manages. The usual story: she brought me coffee, we talked during my breaks, and eventually I asked her out. We connected right away. Same humor, love for the outdoors. Both had been married before and weren't looking to rush into anything serious again. Things were easy between us, but never dull, or so I thought. Then there's Kevin, 41, her best friend since college. They dated briefly in their sophomore year, but decided they were better off as friends. He's been in her life ever since. He was a man of honor at her wedding, helped her through her divorce, and is, by her own admission, part of her foundation. Over the past year, I've met him numerous times. Game nights, barbecues, parties. He was always civil, never openly rude, but kept his distance like he was constantly evaluating me. I made an effort, but he stayed distant, like he wasn't interested in being anything more than polite. Everything came to a head last weekend when Allison hosted a casual dinner party. I got there early to help. Kevin was already there, comfortably in her kitchen like it was his place, mixing drinks and advising her on the food. I let it go. They're close. No big deal. The night was going well. Good food. Good vibes. After dinner, we all headed to the back deck. Someone brought up politics. Usually a bad idea, and this time was no different. Kevin and I quickly realized we had different views. Not extreme, just not aligned. It started civil enough, but I noticed every time I said something, Kevin would glance at Allison like he expected her to shut me down. When she didn't, he got sharper, more sarcastic. Eventually, after one too many condescending remarks, I said calmly, "Look, man, we can disagree without the attitude. We're all adults here." You'd think I slapped him. His face turned red. He turned to Allison and asked, "Are you going to let him talk to me like that?" Before she could answer, I cut in, "I'm talking to you, not her. I'm asking for basic respect." Kevin stood, drink in hand, and snapped, "You don't know what the hell you're talking about. You never have. Allison knows it too. She's just too nice to say it." I turned to Allison, expecting her to ease the tension, to say something neutral at least, but she just looked at Kevin like he was some sort of ticking time bomb. "Kevin, he didn't mean anything by it," she said gently. "I did," I said. "I meant what I said. We can disagree without being disrespectful." The conversation died there. Kevin set his drink down carefully and said, "I'm going to head out. Call me later, Al." Then he walked out, slamming the door. Allison followed him inside. I could hear them talking quietly, but not what they said. When she returned, she looked rattled. I asked her, what was that about? She brushed it off and tried to act normal for the remaining guests. After everyone left, I started helping clean up. That's when Allison cornered me in the kitchen. "You need to apologize to Kevin," she said, arms folded. I almost dropped the plates I was holding. "Excuse me? You embarrassed him in front of everyone. You need to apologize." "Allison," he was disrespectful. "If anyone owes an apology, it's him." "You don't understand," she replied. "Kevin doesn't handle conflict well." He felt attacked, and I felt disrespected. I shot back. "Has it occurred to you that your best friend might just not like me?" "That's not true," she said, but she couldn't meet my eyes. "He's just protective." "Protective? I'm not a threat. You're a grown woman. Why does he need to protect you from your own choices?" She shifted uncomfortably. "Look, it's simple. You need to apologize to him, or we're done." I just stared at her, trying to process what she was saying. You're giving me an ultimatum over a disagreement with your friend? Then came the blow that ended everything. He was here before you, and he's more important than you. It wasn't even said in anger. It was just matter of fact, like it should have been obvious to me all along. I didn't yell, I didn't argue. I just looked at her, nodded slightly, grabbed my keys, and walked out. She called after me, but I didn't look back. By the time I got home, my phone was blowing up with texts. Where did you go? We need to talk. You're overreacting. I turned it off and went to bed. Slept fine, actually. Calm in a weird way. The next day, I had a dozen missed calls, more texts. I ignored them, went to work, focused on what I do best. Came home, watched the game, ordered pizza. By the third day, the calls slowed. The texts became more emotional, less demanding, more desperate. I wasn't avoiding her to punish her. I just needed time to think. That evening, someone knocked on my door. It was Allison, eyes red, clutching her purse like it was all she had. I thought about not answering, but I'm not a coward. So I opened the door, but didn't invite her in. Can I come in? She asked softly. I don't think that's a good idea. Please, I need to explain. I stepped aside. She sat down on the couch like it hurt to move, the same couch where we had so many good moments. But now she looked like a stranger. I'm sorry, she said. What I said was awful. I didn't mean it. You did, I replied. That's why it hurt, because you meant it. She started crying again. I've known him so long. He's like family. I can't lose him. I get that. But why does keeping him mean losing me? Why can't it be both? It can be, she insisted. I was just upset. You and Kevin are the most important men in my life. I sat in the armchair, keeping some distance. No, I'm not. You made it clear, and that's okay. You're allowed to choose who matters most to you. But so am I. And I can't be with someone who sees me as second best. You're not disposable, she whispered. I love you. Do you? Or do you just love how I fit into your life when Kevin approves? Because the second I didn't, you were ready to throw me away. She had no answer. Has he always disliked me? I asked, or just since things got serious between us? She looked at her hands. He's afraid you'll hurt me, like my ex did, so he made himself my gatekeeper. And you let him. It's not like that, isn't it? I asked, tell me honestly, has he ever liked anyone you dated? She said nothing. I deserve more than this. I told her. So do you? A real friend wouldn't make you choose. A real friend would be happy for you. She cried harder, then said they fought after I left, that she realized some things about their friendship, things that had bothered her deep down for years. She said she wanted another chance. Part of me wanted to say yes, to hold her, tell her we'd work it out, but a stronger part, the part that remembered how easily she dismissed me, held firm. I think we need some space. I said, I need to figure out if I can be with someone who sees me as second. And you need to figure out if you're ready to be in a relationship where your decisions aren't dictated by someone else's opinion. She left reluctantly, but not before making me promise I'd at least think about it. That was 5 days ago. She's texted every day since. Nothing pushy, just checking in. I found out from her sister that Kevin's furious. Not just because of the fight, but because she dared to question the dynamic they've had for years. Her sister told me she's been trying to talk to Allison about Kevin for ages. Said he doesn't want a romantic relationship, but doesn't want her to have one either. That this pattern, this possessiveness, has played out before. So here I am, still thinking, still unsure. But one thing I do know, I won't settle for being someone's afterthought. Not again, not ever. What do you think? Is this something that could be repaired? Or is every boyfriend since college? Those were the words echoing in my head. I wasn't sure what to do. Part of me still loved her and wanted to believe we could get through it. But another part knew how deeply ingrained old habits can be. She'd spent 20 years making this bizarre friendship seem normal. For now, I've been taking things day by day, trying to find clarity on my own. I keep reminding myself I'd rather be alone than feel like someone's backup plan. If anything big changes, I'll share. Thanks to those who stuck with me this far. I was overwhelmed by the response when I woke up to hundreds of comments. Your support and insight meant a lot. To clear up a few things. First, no, I don't believe Kevin and Allison were ever physically involved. This situation was never about sex. It was about control. Second, regarding the dinner party. Some thought I abandoned her. That wasn't the case. I left after everyone else had gone. Once she'd made it painfully clear where her priorities lay. I didn't make a scene or leave her stranded. Third, looking back, yes, there were warning signs I ignored. Kevin texted her constantly, even when we were spending time together, and she always responded right away. He had opinions on everything, where we should eat, whether I was right for her. He even crashed a weekend trip we took, despite living 2 hours away. Fourth, some people thought I might be overreacting, maybe, but I've already been in a relationship where I was never priority. My marriage. It took years of therapy to understand my value, and I won't let myself go through that again. Fifth, to clarify, we never lived together. Allison had her own place across town. That's why she showed up at my door instead of already being there. We had talked about living together, but we weren't there yet. 10 days later, we met for coffee, neutral ground at a quiet spot downtown. Allison looked exhausted, but there was a determination in her eyes. She started the conversation, saying she'd been reflecting a lot, and had started to see her friendship with Kevin in a new light. After our argument, she began noticing how he subtly shaped her decisions, how he created drama whenever she focused on someone else, how he made her put his needs ahead of everyone else's, including her own. She showed me some texts he'd sent after our fight, guilt-tripping, manipulative messages claiming she was abandoning 2 decades of friendship for some contractor. Reading them made my skin crawl. This wasn't friendship. It was emotional blackmail. The most revealing moment was when she admitted Kevin had undermined every relationship she'd had. He had even sabotaged her marriage by sharing personal details from her past with her ex-husband, intentionally stirring up problems. And still, she always forgave him. She always put him first. I don't want to live like that anymore, she told me. She'd already contacted a therapist and had an appointment scheduled. I told her I was proud of her for recognizing the dysfunction, but that I had to take care of myself too. We agreed to start slowly again. No pressure, just casual time together while she focused on healing with professional help. Kevin, predictably, didn't take the change well. When emotional manipulation failed, he tried another tactic. Showing up at her office with flowers, pretending to be the supportive friend. Classic manipulator behavior. But Allison held her ground. She told him she needed space and that their friendship couldn't continue unless it changed drastically. A month later, things had evolved in ways I hadn't expected. Allison had stuck with therapy and held firm boundaries. Kevin escalated again, swinging between love bombing and anger. The final straw came when he showed up drunk at her apartment, yelling that I had brainwashed her. She called the police, and they removed him. She filed a restraining order the next day. It was heartbreaking for her, but also eye-opening. She said it was like finally seeing the full puzzle instead of just isolated pieces. She's been reconnecting with friends she lost touch with during Kevin's grip on her life. His possessiveness had slowly isolated her over the years. As for our relationship, we're dating again, still taking things slowly. I even joined her for one of her therapy sessions to learn how to support her without overstepping. Her therapist compared breaking free from a codependent relationship to leaving a cult. It requires time and patience. Kevin, meanwhile, has tried turning mutual friends against her, but it hasn't worked well. Many people have now seen his true nature, especially those who witnessed his behavior during the dinner party and afterward. A few close friends even reached out to apologize for not speaking up sooner. Some people, though, still believe his version of events. That's been painful for Allison, but also revealing, showing her who her true friends are. Thankfully, she and Kevin don't work at the same company. When he started harassing her through work email, her HR department stepped in. They documented the incidents, blocked his domain, and alerted security about the restraining order. I've been deeply impressed by how strong she's been through all of this. It's not easy to untangle yourself from a toxic dynamic, especially one that's lasted so long. No matter what happens between us, I'm grateful that we both learned how crucial it is to set healthy boundaries and respect ourselves. To those who thought I should have apologized just to keep the peace, this was never about a small disagreement. It was about a deep imbalance in how she valued our relationship compared to her toxic loyalty to Kevin. Sometimes, the only thing that shatters illusion is walking away. 6 months have passed now, and we're still together. Our relationship is better than it's ever been. Allison has continued with therapy and started to recognize other patterns from her past, not just the ones tied to Kevin. The restraining order expired, but Kevin has mostly stayed away. He's been trying to rewrite the past, painting himself as a wrong party to their mutual friends, but most people aren't buying anymore. Those who saw what happened that night and afterward know the truth. Allison has apologized for her words and actions from that night more than once. But what matters more is that her behavior has changed. She's consistently shown she's committed to a healthy relationship built on mutual respect and clear boundaries. We're planning to move in together next month, and this time it feels right. Something it wouldn't have 6 months ago. We've had disagreements since that night, but they're different now. We handle them as partners, without outside interference. Someone once told me, you can't compete with history. And they were right. But this was never about winning against Kevin's past. It was about realizing that history isn't always a good thing just because it's long. Sometimes, the longest relationships are the ones that do the most harm. Thank you to everyone who offered support, advice, and encouragement during a rough chapter in our lives. Standing your ground, knowing your worth. It's not just self-care. Sometimes it gives someone else the courage to do the same.